right, so what we're gonna do now, something new, is we're gonna go get some Fiverr session stems that were just sent to me. So we're gonna hear this for the first time, me and you together, literally just getting them from the website. Here we go. Don't know what's gonna happen, but we'll see. Alright, so here we go. Here's the original idea that I had for this little soulful boom bap dig. Alright, so the first things first, I'm gonna keep this. I'm gonna start some new tracks because I want to keep my idea intact in case for some reason it just doesn't work. But generally I like to ask them to provide wet and dry stems, but I also like to have them literally start the position at 0 or from the beginning of my track. That way it all lines up in the end, so when I drag it in there. Generally I like to listen to their wet versions first, and then I go to the dry. I like to see their original intent and how they translated my idea into a real idea. Hopefully I put enough in there. Maybe not. Let's do this instead. Yeah, there we go. See how they lined up perfectly? That way there's no syncing issues for later. That way I'm just kind of like I know everything's gonna line up, hopefully. Now sometimes it looks like in this case it was a little early, but we'll see. I bet that might have been my fault as well too, because I might have accidentally moved it forward. In fact, that probably is the case. Won't leave it this way. It'll probably get chopped up. I try to take the files from the musician or whatever, and then I go back and render them as loops, kind of like I think of them as loops. So I just chop them up and make them work. So I wanted really nice quality stems to work with instead of just some loops that I found where I can't change the bass or the treble. I have to do a whole bunch of EQing just to make it work. In this case, actually I think I was right. So let's see. Hopefully. Let's do this. Yeah, he lined it up right. We're good. So a lot of times I'll get some sessions that will give me a little bit or give me a lot, and I've tried to nurture these relationships on Fiverr to the point where it's a mutually beneficial thing, where I get a lot of good stuff and they get a lot of, you know, money, which is, you know, what they want, and I have no problem paying it. But And so you cultivate them. I've been cultivating them since COVID, I guess, 2020, 21, or whatever it was. And I just basically spent all day long looking for the great players and people that work with me. And I think I found a lot of them. You have to weed them out, but sometimes it's just a matter of business. Sometimes it's not necessarily the talent. It's just the business acumen is wrong. Let's see. Let's just check this. Maybe I did have that right. I don't know. I think there's a time stop somewhere. Let's see. They sound great. Let me go check something real quick. Let's do this. I really ruled this out really quickly. Let's see. Which one was that? I might have moved it. It's known to happen. Yeah, it looks like that might have been the case. Or maybe not. No, looks like we're good. Okay, cool. What was the original file, by the way, that I gave it to him just in case I wanted to make sure that it was lined up correctly. Now I'm going to pull in his dry stems. Oops. So what I do usually is in Logic, I'll sum these into a folder. Or actually I can do a summing track real quick. That way you can group them and kind of treat them as like take folders if you have to. Right now at this stage I'm not going to group them into a take folder because I want them individually, but if you did them in a take folder, you could do this, and then you could swipe through takes, which I'll do later, but I want to listen to them in entirety and then decide whether I want to combine something or not. For right now, it's just easy to look at it all as one group instead of trying to like swipe, in my opinion. And I'll just go ahead and mute all these. Then label them accordingly for right now, the sum channels. pretty. Let's go ahead and listen to the dry first, or the dry now. You have to be very specific about asking for the dry stems as well, because either sometimes it's more money or sometimes it's not available. But in this case, I think I love the wet sound that he has and all that stuff. That's great. But I think I'm going to go with the dry ones because it's not as invasive to my style, or the song style. I think this will chop up easier and I can actually craft it a little better around what I'm trying to do. It just depends. I have some session players that I absolutely... their wet sound, their reverbs, and their effects, and their whatever they put on, their pedal, their amp, it's spot on. But I like that flexibility of not having it to be stuck to it. And I will pay a little extra just to do that because it just lets me have fun. I'm free. And this is going to be that one of those instances. But I wouldn't throw away the wet ones. I would keep them because sometimes they have some really cool stuff that you can use as a filter effect later, that you just, hey, this is a cool emphatic part, or a part where it can blossom, and you don't want to, you can make a whole new area out of it just from that. So usually I just power that down, and then in this case I'm going to hide it. Well, I can't hide that part, but wait, maybe. No, it's there. Okay, well, maybe I can hide the stems, but I can't. Oh, there it is. I went the other way. And hiding it goes? Yeah. We'll see, it's now like a little more chill. These are obviously... a lot better. Let's get with the program here. Okay, there we go. This is a good example, a good reason why I wouldn't want to do this as a take folder, because some of these are, I guess I forgot that he did a freestyle up top, so none of these are the same takes, which is also great because then I can completely go bonkers with it. Like, for example, I think he did another section here. Let's move it forward and see what we got. That's what that is. Okay. Okay. Excuse me, and it looks like I did have it off by, yeah, that looks like exactly what I did. I moved it forward later on when I was trying to do something, because this part I don't think existed before, but now when I'm looking at this lines up spot on the money. Yeah. Excuse me. out some of this low. It's unnecessary, in my opinion. It's not science. I'm not telling you what you should do, though. Usually I just put it on the bass for a sidechain real quick to see where it's coming at. Or the kick. But usually anywhere over 100 and below 200 or 250 is where I like to keep it. 250 being right about here. So like anywhere from here to about here, I like to give a slope. Not necessary, just my personal earbuds, my personal ear tastes. So usually when I send these out to session players, they're elaborate sketches, meaning 90% of it's how I want. But usually when I get something from them and I'm like, wow, okay, maybe I can do something different. And that's sometimes a little bass-ackwards, but it works for me. I like to get surprised or inspired by whatever I get. So it might have sent off to him as a perfectly fine track, but with an idea that I had. And again, we're going to find out if it works or not. So usually one of the other things I forgot to do, well, I didn't forget, I didn't save it yet, but usually I create a new alternative, and I will call this D, and then add guitar, and then don't save. And that way I have my version that I liked, which could be whatever, and this could be a whole new entrance in the game. And so and that's basically starting at zero, sort of. I just like that real subtle, kind of soulful soulful thing that the guitar just gave it. Just like, and it doesn't even have to be that loud. It can just be real, supporting everything else. get funky. What am I looking for? Guitar rig. Yeah. It's my version, you dumbass. Thank you. Let's play around with some amping. Show me the jazz. That's the other great part about having the dry stems is because they're not amped, and so they're all DI, so I can completely take them in a whole different direction, and it's just the crafting of it all is so I can get immersed in just the crafting of something as ridiculous as the difference between a cabinet and a room mic. All day for no reason. Like, well, yeah, that's the spice. So here we are, loud. Before, and after. Oof. Oh yeah. Again with your nonsense today? Okay. Thanks, Native Instruments. Really appreciate you. Let's do something different. Okay, thank you. know what your problem is today, but you need to get with the program. All right. Okay, well, we got that. Well, maybe that's what it is. I don't know. Well, I'm not going to do that now, but thanks, Native. Appreciate it. Really, I want these guitars to be kind of like just like wavy background elements, not necessarily like a lead guitar, a lead solo, or taking over anything. I just kind of want it to like pulsate in the back to support the chords and melody and etc. More ear candy, as it were. So contrary to what anyone has ever heard my music thinks it's all samples, it does make up quite a percentage of samples, but I try to incorporate live instrumentation as much as possible, or what's appropriate. And sometimes maybe it's just a song of all samples, or a song of all me playing my own little toy jungle over here. But sometimes I really think like, hey, we really need I want a live guitar player, and it usually works out amazingly. Like no one even knows because they don't think about it. But I'm really trying to put that in there, because there is something to be said about a live musician and their interpretation of what I'm doing that I probably didn't even think about. I have a few songs already that in the last couple of years that no one would think, hey, that's a real guitar player, a real bass player, a real percussion player, a real whatever, real musician. And when I tell them like, no, and I'm like, yeah, and they're like, wow, okay. So that's the goal here, is to kind of incorporate sampling, hip hop, beat making, with a little psychedelic twist in certain areas, and some live instrumentation when possible or where appropriate, because it takes it to another level when there's a guitar player that just kind of comes out of nowhere and goes, hey, what do you think about this random thing? And I'm like, man, that is a great interpretation of it. I've thrown away whole tracks and started over when I've gotten parts from some musicians, because it just totally took me somewhere where I wasn't going. And I love that collaborative idea where, you know, all bets are off, or, you know, we're just racing to the finish line. And this is one of those examples where I'm taking a minute to think about it, and I think it's gonna work. I mean, I know it's gonna work. I'm not really worried about that too much. I just have to retrain my brain around the idea that I ended with, or the idea that I was sent. Like for example, when that this end part here, I mean, I may just see what this sounds like. Let's see where we go. Hold on a second. No, it's not what I wanted. Make sure I got this. Oh, you know what? Let's just do this instead. Okay. Let's let Logic do the work for me. How about that, huh? Yeah, that'll be fine. Okay. This is gonna be perfect. He basically gave me like a whole bunch of stems and a whole bunch of loops and chops and things I can do that may not work. They may work in a traditional song, but I need to have these be more flexible. And the good news is that they're all in key, and so I can just move them around and just do whatever I want. Makes it so much more flexible to do it this way than for me to go try to find like 15 different samples on Splice or wherever you get them from. Don't get me wrong, that works, and a lot of my songs have been built with that way, but this gives me a completely new sandbox in which to play in and a freedom to make executive decisions about how this sounds. Something that AI won't be able to do. And if you could, I don't care. Because maybe one day I'll use AI for something, but right now this is the best way for me. I tried using AI and it's fine. It's good if you don't want to get into the nuts and bolts of every little thing, and my OCD and my pickiness is not going to let me just accept something as is. Let's not forget the most important part. Let's go talk to our guy real quick. Let's do this. Let's chat with him first. Cool. Didn't want to leave him hanging. done all this work, and I may just use this one chop over again. That's fine. But again, if I want to do a remix or have additional parts or make it more a little whatever, I can do whatever I want later. That's the good part. And I do like that Fiverr keeps track of all my orders, so if I ever lose files or whatever, I can go back or misplace them, which is more appropriate, because that's happened many times. Go ahead and swap those back out. I think this will be useful, but I'll have to take a better listen. I already have the chords, so these will be fine, but I don't know. We'll see. Is that what I want? No, that's not what I wanted. I always forget this one. Where is it at? Rename. There you go. Cool. That was quick. There goes that whole thing. Okay, cool. Love this. Let's move these here. Let's change these colors to red. And here's the most crucial part. I'm going to go ahead and not even listen to what my previous concept was. I'm just going to go ahead and kill it because we have it in the previous alternative. So good riddance, and we'll see you in the next live. Yes, we want to get rid of you. So now I'm going to just go all in. I feel like for me that's the best thing to do, because sometimes I could, you know, I've done it before where you just dwell on something so long that you just you can never make a decision. But I feel like if we have alternatives, just go ahead and kill those and start a whole new thing. And if like I said, if you don't like it, head on back to the, back to the beginning. It's pretty good. I mean, I remember the days of Logic where it was once you committed to something, you were stuck. You don't have a backup. But thankfully, Logic made it so that it's almost kind of non-destructive. And if you are destructive, you just aren't paying attention, or you just don't care, and whatever works for you. But for me, I like having multiple alternatives, and I generally use alternatives when I'm only trying to make major decisions. I think like here I have A and A short. A was one version, and then short was just I took the same thing and chopped it and split it into and more in a range song, and then B I added something, and C. So I try to save these alternatives for drastic decision making. I don't usually care if I move a chord or fix something, whatever. If it's like this is a big decision to add a whole new rhythm section, and so to me that warrants a new version. I just try to keep it simple and try to keep the song out of my way. Like say, hey, just do your just do your thing and let the song find itself, and so it's less about songwriting for me and more about exploring sonic ideas and somehow come together in this atonal. Sometimes I only use one chord, sometimes I use two, but I try to keep them, I try to find it in the song just that way, and it's just how I enjoy doing it. And so if no one ever hears it but me, that's fine. because I know I like it. Like these chords right here may not work for what I want, but they could definitely be a nice little bridge somewhere or a nice little lull at the end. Maybe the outro. That's a good idea. Maybe I'll just keep that for the outro. That little guitar right there is nice. Let's do this. Let's set this up 8 bars. Business interruptus. Having a day with native instruments right now. I'm about to lose my come on, guys. It might have something to do with the fact that I despise VSTs and probably deleted a few here and there occasionally. So who knows what the deal is. Or whatever, I don't know. That could that probably has a high likeliness of happening because I have it for the machine over here, but I use audio units for Logic's, and machine takes like a trillion gigabytes of storage for no reason. Maybe this is the reason, I guess, but who knows? Anyways, I'll figure it out later. If I stop now, it'll just be stupid. Give it some more water. If anything, I use this RC20 retro color thing. It's supposed to put all these like granular vintage stuff on there. It does a good job of that, but the one thing I love most is this little EQ down here. I don't know what it does, but it provides like the best low and high cut. I mean, I'm sure I could tweak it in Pro Q, but for some reason these modes and these tones that they have are just chef's kiss all over the place. Like I will literally pull this plug-in on everything I like, and I will only use that. Like seriously, like I'll turn off everything and just use this. It's, I don't know what, but it's amazing. Like, it's one of my favorite I wish I could just have this EQ by itself. Let's send this guy to the right bus this time. See if we can get some pump action going on. Watch how loud this gets. So right now I'm having the keys, the pad, and a lot of instruments all going to their own little bus over here, so that when I want to send all these to get squished, I glue those all together so that the instruments all sound together, just like I have the drums and the bass all going to the same drum bus. That way they're getting smushed together, because I want those tones and those frequencies. And that, for example, I'll show you just... This is going to its own drum bus, and it's getting squished over here. And watch what happens when I turn off all this. Before, or that's after, and then that's before. Just when I add the bass. Obviously the bass sounds louder, but it's not being compressed with everything yet. So when I unbypass all this, now I'm getting like a pulsing sound, because I'm using compressors and EQ, and one of my other favorite plugins is this one right here. Come on. Let's see. Hold on a second. Yeah, that's right. It's this little intelligent master processor that you use on a mastering bus, but I use it on just a separate drum bus. I mean, you can use it however, but I really like what it does with the de-rumbling, so it helps out with like cutting all those. Now that I'm compressing and using this BX glue from Brainworks, I smush it all, and this helps me reduce some of the rumbling that causes when all these frequencies decide to get together and have a little jam, which is fine, but it does cause a little too much, and I don't want to EQ everything to death, so I just put a little de-rumble on it, and it seems to be like the magic sauce for me. And then I just compress and EQ and compress again, and then inflate and use whatever. Like, for example, I got this. Then I put a little tape saturation on there, very subtly, to give me some harmonics. I don't know why you're showing it. Then I just EQ again to kind of keep things in place, and then I use my Oxford inflator. I generally don't have this set to do a lot of inning and outing. It's mostly just like if you read this, it says a curve. Basically, just applying a small characteristics and effects to some of the sound to make it a little warmer or whatever I'm deciding at the time. And then just a drum compressor at the end, or a bus compressor at the end. You know, that just gives it a little more pump. Putting all that together, though, then I can make it sound like it's one breathing thing, one living thing, and then I just do that with a lot of other things. Like the keys in some instruments that all share somewhat the same frequency range, not all the time, but sometimes I divvy it up differently depending on what I'm doing, but in this case I have the keys and I will have where are you? This kind of pulsing, I don't know, pad key kind of thing going on there. I have that going to this one's going stereo out, but watch what happens when I put this on the right bus. It seems to have more life to it now. It's a little more sparkly. And then I do the same thing with all the other elements that I have going on. I send them to the same place so that they start converging and start commingling sounds. Truly non-musical terms, but oh well. So here you can listen to this without, that's without any of the plugins. But then when they're all put together, in this case I have a tape saturation at the top because I want to give me some different harmonics with all these combined. A little EQing, and then again my favorite derumbler set to a different setting, and then I put on a little Saturn to get even more harmonics and gentle saturation in this case. I generally don't mess with this one too much. I apply like a very gentle saturation and don't do a lot of driving, and sometimes I'll switch however I want this to be, but put this across the whole thing and not just bands. You can do whatever you want, but in this case I just like to have it static. And then what else we got? And then just more inflator. I don't know why you're showing up all these remote view. I use that inflator a lot on different tracks, and then it's mostly, sometimes I usually change gain volumes or level out things, but I actually think it's great. It does kind of give it a little bit, just put a gloss across everything. Very subtle, I think this case I just didn't change too much, but I like the way it sounds overall. So what I'm trying to do is fix the sounds here before they go to my out, and I don't want to have a lot of things in my out in case most of the stuff on my out is very tools oriented. I think in this case it's like, what I'm trying to do is trying to get my sound to be, I'm trying to warm my I keep this preset on most of my tracks, the plugins, but not necessarily in this what they're doing. What I'll do is, here's my limiter, and then at the very end, obviously it's just, this is clarity for my outboard gear over here. You can't see, but there's a little monitor over here. I can check the level, so when I'm just listening and I want to look up and see where it's at, I don't have to look at plugins. And then I just have my console recall from my Apollo. But anyways, I try to keep these tools oriented so that I'm not worried about what the master bus is doing. I'm just focusing on getting the sound over there and having it all work together. So that way, if I have to turn off anything, for example, if I turned off all these plugins on the master, we can just hear it real quick. So the only thing that's changing any real sound is going to be this Saturn and this Tube Tech, which is widening it a little bit. But the good news is the overall levels are pretty much the same. I'm not herky-jerking around figuring out what my levels are. So if I need to turn off anything, I just go like this, but you know, what I use this Saturn for is, since I'm doing a lot of lo-fi kind of sound, a lot of like you know, muted highs and whatever, I like to sculpt these frequency ranges so that I know what it's going to sound like at the end of the day. So when I'm getting clips and samples and guitar parts and hi-hats or whatever I'm doing, if I put them in here, I know that it's automatically going to be taken care of, that my highs are off or lower than I want them, because or my lows are going to be bumping enough. I just find that it works best for me that if I know when I'm at the end of the day, no matter what I put in or bring in or play around with, it always will sound the way I want it to match this particular project. the Mars Saturn sound. If I'm working on that, then I want it to fall into the same category every time. So I can immediately open a track and start right away and not go, oh, well, I forgot to turn off the, no, I have it all set up. I have it all figured out. So it makes it easier for me just to get going. I know that when I bring a loop in from Splice and it's got these really high hi-hats, I know as soon as I put it in, it's going to go, nah, you got that covered, William. So that's just my insight on that, but it works for me. To each their own, but it's what I've learned that it, So for example, like when you hear this drum part, if you go over here and listen to this without, hear how high those are? So if I wanted to do this really cool high-end production value, it can be like that. And it sounds good, in my opinion, but I like this real kind of lo-fi boom bappy kind of this vibe. And if I feel like, hey, I need to literally listen to that, put it on solo and then, bring that up. Real simple. Find the frequency range you want to, maybe that works. Maybe that will work later. Who knows? But it's a good starting point to know where my previous songs landed so that I can go, hey, that's what I like then. And this gives me the flexibility to say, nah, I like this differently. Anyways, moving on. Oh, the other thing on here is on this console recall, I would like to have a word with a UAD before, but they have a mono button here that I check all my mixes with when I'm working on it. But they don't have that hardware. It's not a hardware button. You can't turn the mono over here, which is kind of annoying. But so you have to have the plug-in on there. In this case, I like to keep it on there. And basically arrange and sometimes level, gain stage, and everything in mono. And I'll sometimes forget about it. And you know what ends up happening? It sounds great. Like right now, this is in mono. And you guys might not hear that as much, but on my end, but I know I hear it on mine, where it's like everything went mono. But anyway, but it's real nice because when you're working on a track, if you know it's going to be trying to figure out where it's sitting, you can just put it in mono and go, oh. I've done whole songs halfway through the arrangement process. I realized I left it in mono. And when I unmonoed it, it sounded like something had come down from the heavens. I'm like, whoa, stuff that I completely forgot about. It also lets you know where things are sitting and where they're congesting areas. So if you have things in mono and all of a sudden you realize it sounds like crap, there usually is crap, and you usually have to sort it out later because you're like, oh, it's just bunching up in this one area. And I've learned that if I put it in mono and you can't hear it, then sometimes there's no point in it. I mean, obviously if you're doing something super wide and super psychedelic, sure, but sometimes it just gets lost. Anyways. I'll tell you what, Yeah, my demo expired is like literally my. Okay, guys. Let's see if this will work. That's not it. Oh, it says repair. Okay, that's why. All right. It's literally telling me I got to put those VSTs back. I knew that was going to be a problem. I don't use the contact. I mean, I use it, but I don't use it much. But apparently, like, it wants me to put that in there. Thank you for that little insistence on your way of doing things, Guitar Rig. Oh, brother. Yeah. Okay. Well, you figure it out. Maybe it won't. Maybe it will. I don't know. Well, we're good for now. these three, put them together. No, let's not do that. Yeah, let's do that. Just call this pad. If that's gonna make it work or not, but let's try it. No, it's probably gonna have to be reloaded. Well, that's fine. Maybe. Okay. Maybe if I actually, let's try something real quick. No, I guess not. I guess I'm gonna have to gonna have to figure out this. Oh, the joys of technology, and every day is just a wonderful experience. But truthfully, it has gotten better, so there's that. Yeah. Well, we got that working. Thank you. Nope, I guess I'll have to reload the plugin. Okay, thanks, buddy. Okay, we're good. That could actually probably move down here to effects. quit this program to get this guitars to sound right. Because I know you guys don't want to watch me close down the program, reopen the program, do a bunch of, because then it'll be like a 25 minutes to get things to work, which is unfortunate, but it's the nature of the beast. Let's go to the next section and see where we go. Yeah, that's gonna be all right. Especially this section right here. Sometimes what I'll do is for example, I have this basic audio track here. What I'll do is if I like a certain idea and I don't want to lose its place, it's helpful to kind of just put those down in a different track. That way, if you're trying to move stuff around, you can just do it really simply by just, doing a little bit of shuffling. When I'm going through this arrangement process or trying to figure out what I want, like and don't like, usually I will mute the bass or the kick and all the percussive stuff because I already know what that sounds like. That's really not going to change. What's going to need to change is all this needs to change around all the other melodic stuff and harmonies and chords. I like to fit it all together so that way when the drums come back on, I don't have to worry. I'm not changing those. That's what that's going to be. So why listen to it on repeat if I don't need to? Now, don't get me wrong. You need to go back and check to make sure you're not completely getting out crazy. But that's another benefit of having the track pretty much written and sent to the player because he's playing to what I gave him. So, that's where you can stop that real quick and say, hey, I have this bedrock of things I like. He's playing on that. He's only got so far he can go. And if he goes past that, well, then it's not going to work. But in this case, so I don't need to hear the drums the whole time. It's also good on my ears where I don't have to listen to it all day long. But this way I'm trying to puzzle piece these things together. Yeah, that's nice. that's something I've learned over the years. Like, if you send somebody a half-baked track and they send you some music back, you really don't know where you stand. But here I know where my song stands when he got it. So, and it works for all. It works for everybody. A session player is a bass player, guitar player. It's easier if they have a whole, very, very complete song to work with, so that they know the boundaries, and you know what to ask for them. This is a good example of that. He's playing to what I gave him, so it's gonna work. He played a little more than I'd like, but it's not his fault. I mean, those are all just beautiful textures right there. And when I get native instruments to work properly, it'll sound amazing. Oof, that's beautiful. Totally doesn't sound lo-fi like this. It sounds more like a singer-songwriter vibe, but add the drums back in. It's a little more lo-fi. When I get those plug amps working, it'll have a more grit to it, but for now it works. See, like that part might be a little too much for this section. This could be the whole section right here. It could be the main bedrock of the song, or the guitar part of the song. Must be that native instruments coming back to haunt me. another cool part is like when they send you multiple stems in different versions, different takes. In this case, he did little different things here and there, but sometimes I'll just use a piece for a fill or a riser or just a change, a break from the whatever we're going for. And so some of these parts may end up being more like that and less about being an integral part of the song. It might just be, hey, look, we're changing, and this we can use this chord shift change, this little variance to kind of bridge that gap between just a static part to another non-static part. So I think that's what these are going to be like, but I think I'm going to get back into that later because that's a lot more work, and I want my guitar rig to be fine. Because it's not right now. And I think these parts could work out very well, like on some kind of weird pulsing delay. Like that could be real cool if it had a lot more delay on it. This is my new favorite plugin right here. This color copy by Yuhi or Yuhei. I don't know what it's called, but I absolutely love this thing. Like, it does some kind of nonsense to it that, like, it's magic. I mean, just grab some of these crazy. I mean, that's bonkers, dude. I think it was like $49 at Plugin Boutique or like wherever. I think I got it on special from a vendor, but man, I absolutely love this thing. It's like everything at once. Reverb, delay. I think it's called a bucket delay, but I don't know. I just actually love this thing. Very subtle, but when you put it and mix it with other plugins, it's like phenomenal. I'm not sure this duck version or this preset's gonna work on this track, but it's pretty crazy. It just basically transforms everything. Like, hold on a second. Let's see if I can. I know I can find something that works here. I know I can. It's not even a matter of like, can I? It's a matter of how long is it going to take me to find what I like. Like, honestly, listen, that's completely different. The regeneration thing on here is when you automate that, it's crazy because it's perfect. And I like the fact that it's very, I mean, this looks overwhelming down here at the bottom. It's all this stuff, but that's the coloring, that's the spice, and this is the generic controls. But I like the fact that I can do so much by just touching any of these three pots. I mean, that's, come on. further. Okay, that will work right there. Yeah. There's that organic part that I like about this live players is that, like, I could have done that in some other form or fashion. I use a lot of, one shots that I've crafted through machine and through wherever I grab my, through the machine or through plugins or stacking plugins and flattening stuff like this. But that's fine. But this organic thing that goes on with this guitar right here turns the whole song mood-wise just over on his head. And that might be the only place that exists. Like, it may just be... And that's another thing I like doing, is I like packing the song full of stuff and making it all sound good, and then subtractively removing things. For me, that's easier, just subtractively removing it and saying, hey, this is enough. But that way, when I'm moving from section to section, I can just go, yeah, and re-listen to it and say, nah, this isn't working, or this is working, or that's cool, maybe I can move that somewhere else. Just a way of using decision making for me that I like. I use it part of my photography. I use it part of my... Mostly everything I do is like, hey, I have all this, let's take away some stuff, instead of having to figure out how to put stuff back in when it's too much. And when I have native instruments working, I'll affect this to be a little less clinical sounding. It's all about just enough to bring the vibe, but don't try to put all the parts in there, because then you're crowding it and it doesn't work. And I want every part to be a little bit special and play their own unique role in the song, instead of just relying on, oh, the guitar player sent me this whole thing and it all sounds wonderful, but that's great, but it doesn't serve what I want. And I've had some great musicians play on some of these tracks where I used to feel guilty about like keeping it, but then I realized I paid for it, so it's my decision. It's like when I go to a bar and I order a drink and I don't finish it. It says, hey, you didn't finish your drink. I'm like, yeah, I paid for it. I finish it or I don't finish it, it's still paid for it. So it's the same logic. It's like, whether I dump it out or drink it or get smashed because I finished that last drink I didn't want, well, fine, but get rid of it. If it doesn't serve the song, then let it go. I know it's hard to talk about minimalism when you're looking at a track that has this, or a song that has this many tracks, but I promise you I'm trying to practice as much minimalism as or what serves the song the best. Or section in this case. Might be the perfect amount of space between those sections. Yeah, I think that might work. Kind of brings us really nicely into this break. And then if I put some reverb and effects and delays on that, it might actually work out real well. Find another place for that. Maybe that'll be the outro. That other guitar part that we muted. What I also like to do when I'm working in kind of this regional formatting, I make sure that I like to keep either the before or after the loop I'm on just a little bit so that I get a context of how it's coming in and how it's going out sometimes, because sometimes you can work in a 8-bar, 4-bar loop and forget that you have to go somewhere or you came from somewhere and you're like, this is great, this is fantastic, and then you go, wait a minute, none of that shit works because I don't know where I came from. So it's helpful for me, it's helpful to keep approximate an appropriate amount of space between the before and during and after sometimes, so you know context. Doesn't make it for that glossy loop that you're used to listening to, but it helps out for decision making. Yeah, we can work with this. Get a little pretty at the end there. yeah. Too many edits in a row. I getcha. I'll figure something out for that. Or not. Oh, I know what the problem is. What's going on here? Oh, I guess it was off by a little bit. guitar's a little hotter than I'd like, but only because I can't really hear because my monitor's on. So. I'll do one more pass through, listen, and quit Logic and restart Native Instruments. No, I'll probably do one more. This will be my final pass for you guys, and then I'll probably go back through and do this over again one more when my plugins work.